We've got new information from the Ag Labor Working Group in D.C., avian influenza is back in the news here in Arkansas, and much more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts right now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Happy Thursday, gents.
Yes, happy Thursday to you.
I would like to start this show by complimenting you on your shirt.
Yes, there was several weeks ago we had kind of a conversation about whether my shirt was green or gray. And I will agree that under particular light, specifically lights in this entire building, that it may or may not look green.
Any light.
And today, we're both wearing green.
Yeah.
And we agree on it.
Yeah. I walked down the hall, and I see you sitting down, chatting with some folks, and I just walked up. I was like, oh, my gosh, look at us.
I looked at this shirt today in the closet, and I was like, I hadn't worn this shirt in a long time. This will be
funny,
unique.
I saw the shirt first. I'm like, man, I kind of like that shirt. And I looked down. I'm like, wait a minute. Wearing a very similar shirt.
Yeah,
so,
I should have wore a black vest.
Yeah, you should have. Well, I threw this on just so we wouldn't look so alike.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing, Brian? How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah? Okay.
Feeling a little hurt.
Because we didn't get you a shirt.
Where's the memo?
Yeah, we should have.
I mean, he is wearing kind of the podcast uniform and all the blue, though.
That is it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Maybe it's my podcast uniform.
He's been having a lot of meetings lately that's required him to be in tip-top business casual.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of hurting
he's
him
important now. Not that he wasn't before, but he is.
He is. That's the truth.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, good. Good to hear it. Good to
be here.
It's one of those days where the high happens at like midnight, and the temperature's just going to go down. We're not going to get as far as we were last week.
Yeah.
But the temperature's just going to kind of steadily fall.
It's been kind of warm this week.
Today. It has. It's been like summerish a little bit. I mean, up in the 80s. We sent our kiddo to school in shorts, and we're like, eat it up, because it's probably the last run.
I get Anthony dressed every morning, and yesterday afternoon when Mary Louise picked him up, she's like, did you put him in this? In his clothes? I was like,
He didn't put himself in.
I was like, they're a little tight. Might be the last time he wears it. She was like, it's kind of a summer clothes. It's like, it was 75 degrees outside today.
Yeah. And it was kind of
I wish
cloudy.
you had said no. Just to see.
No, I didn't even take him to school. I don't know how he got there.
Should have been calling the school like, who put him in these clothes?
Yeah.
I mean, it has been nice the past few days. Going to get a little chilly, a little rainy today, tomorrow, and Saturday, I think. We may warm up again before Thanksgiving. Depends on if the forecast holds. I don't know.
I hope not.
Anyway, are you headed out to the woods at any point?
Touchy subject. No.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
But, yes, it's open weekend of rifle season this weekend.
Yeah.
It's Trigger Thursday for me. But
okay.
We're going to the Razorback game in Fayetteville.
Is this FIU?
No, this is Auburn.
Auburn, okay. All right.
So this will be the first one I've gone to this season.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I will not be happy if Arkansas loses.
If you bring this back.
And then I look on my camera and there's big old buck deer there in front of the stand. And
well,
anyways, I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah, good for you. A buddy of mine, good friend of mine, went to the Florida game with some friends, and I was like, he told me he was going, and I didn't say this. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but I'm thinking, God, why would you do that to yourself? That kind of punishment. And then I had to text him, even though he didn't know what I was thinking. I had to text him and eat crow just for myself and say, man, look at you looking like a genius now, going down to Gainesville for the game.
That'd have been a great one to watch.
That's great. Yeah.
I will say it's going to be kind of warm for deer hunting. I mean, not too warm, but it's not ideal.
Yeah.
32 degrees temperature. You'd really
I've been wondering if my son-in-law has gotten any sleep because it's They have a 15-month-old.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But it's hunting season, and he's got an app on his phone where he watches cameras.
His cameras. Yeah.
Out in the field at his mom's land, and he keeps showing me these pictures of this huge buck. And he said, my phone goes off middle of the night, ping that it's been triggered. It's like, I got to get out there.
It starts eating away at you.
Man, I think I'd turn that thing off because it's like 1 a.m, ping.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
Don't mess with my sleep.
I kind of got the same deal. And when they go off, I'm immediately like, ooh, it's just a raccoon.
I'm fully awaiting the report that he got it because it keeps returning to the same spot. So,
it does.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm hopeful that he gets it because he's been wanting to get out there.
Yeah, see if you can score some deer
if you
summer
can pattern
sausage.
him, that's great. I hope he knocks him out. But duck season opens up next weekend, so right now my schedule's clear.
Okay. So, all right. Well, that can all change.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next week we're going to talk a lot about Thanksgiving. Just as kind of a heads up, we have the American Farm Bureau Thanksgiving Dinner Cost Survey. Very excited that we are putting out our own Arkansas. You're our colleague, but in your department, Tyler Oxner has been working on Thanksgiving Dinner Cost Survey. That's just got Arkansas specific numbers. Americans got the national numbers.
Yeah.
And we've already seen some excitement and some interest around this from media this week. So we'll hold on to Thanksgiving chatter until next week, and then we'll likely take the week after. The week Thanksgiving Day will be when we normally put out the show.
That's usually one of our most popular articles we put out, isn't it?
It is. I think it gives folks a good look at just cost of food in general.
Yeah.
But everybody's cooking a meal on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, a lot.
You think about how the schedule works out. Usually we've got a big cookout Memorial Day, probably another big cookout 4th of July. Mm-hmm. But really, that's the last time that we cook these big meals and have gatherings for the most part. I mean, they're one-offs, but I mean, as a collective.
Easter.
From July until Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
So folks are kind of chomping at the bits. Hey, it's been 3 months
to eat a lot.
I've cooked a lot and eaten a lot. So
I'm there for the sides, not so much the turkey. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I do like a good turkey breast, but the sides are. We'll talk about that a little bit more next week. It's November 10th, 2023. Today, I don't know. I felt the need to tell you all the year, but I was just doing some digging around. Hey, anything interesting happened today? The U.S. Marine Corps was founded. It's their birthday, I believe.
That's cool.
But one of the best Christmas movies ever produced was also released today.
And that is?
Well, I'm going to give you the year, and you guys tell me if you can tell me the movie. 1990. Yep.
I don't know. There's a lot of the one I'm thinking of. Was not produced in the 90s.
It does not involve a station wagon. Okay.
Would that be Elf?
No,
that's like
Elf came a little later. Home Alone.
I was about to say Home Alone.
Home Alone, yeah.
All right.
One of my favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah.
So that gets me excited hearing that.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, we're in that. We're full. We're about to be full in. I'm already seeing some ads on television, hearing some ads on the radio.
Yeah.
We're about to be there.
Oh, there's music playing everywhere already. So,
yeah.
It doesn't matter what store you're in, hardware store. You're walking around, it's Christmas music.
All the satellite radio stations are out. I was sort of flipping through there yesterday and heard some. A little too early for me. Too early for me.
Yeah, I'm just skipping Thanksgiving altogether. Didn't really rub me
not really.
Considering it was 80 degrees outside when I was hearing the music, it was a little early for me too.
Yeah.
But so you've opened up a can of worms then.
Okay, yeah.
Die Hard.
Oh,
is it
a Christmas movie or not a Christmas movie?
Yeah, I say it is. But doesn't Bruce Willis say it's not a Christmas movie?
I have heard.
It's not particularly about Christmas, but it's
boy. I've heard this debate. I've heard this debate on Home Alone too, but actually, and
that's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
So
I actually, and I know I'm gonna open myself up here. I don't think Die Hard is. I do think Home Alone is.
It's Christmas themed.
That's it.
I foresee a lot of comments coming our way.
Maybe so.
I hope
Maybe
so.
so.
We need
So
that
you
too.
think Die Hard is? What do you think?
I would consider it a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Just because of the time of year that it happens, and
Right. Sure.
every single cut of music is all
Christmas
Christmas.
music. That's a
So-
fair point.
No, I don't have a really strong opinion about it. I'm more or less indifferent to it. If you said it wasn't, yeah, that's fine with me. But
I've heard
I'm
this
gonna lean that way.
equation of time, a ratio of how much is dedicated to music. And I think I cut you off, so I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
But I've heard this. I've heard that applied in the argument, like the movie's got to be at least 80% involving Christmas or the story,
Who
whatever.
defines that?
I don't know. I think it's all just subjective. These are people who have been involved in these, but I've heard these arguments on podcasts and whatever.
Yes.
But I think for me, the difference between Home Alone and Die Hard, it's been a long time since I've seen Die Hard, so I could be wrong about this, but it's that warm and fuzzy resolution
right.
that differentiates.
That's a
them.
take.
So let me give you the full answer then.
Okay.
For me,
Uh-huh.
because I've only recently said, okay, maybe it is a Christmas movie. Technically,
Uh-huh.
old me, absolutely not.
Uh-huh.
It's an
Okay.
action movie.
Yeah,
because,
sure.
Because it spawned so many sequels
Yeah.
that are all considered part of a whole, and they are absolutely not Christmas.
Yeah, once you get
So,
into all that.
It's an
Yeah.
action movie that happens
At
around
Christmas
or
time.
in around,
Yeah.
at Christmas.
I hear
Right.
you wavering now.
I'm like I said, I'm cool with it, but
Yeah.
it's got enough Christmas in it for me to be considered a Christmas action movie.
It's definitely not on my list. As I start checking off the movies that I need to watch to feel like I've done my part for Christmas,
Right.
it's not on the list.
No.
Right.
It's not on the list. So that's
Right.
where I fall on that.
All right. I foresee
But-
another topic coming up on a later show because we're going to go over all the movies you have to watch each year.
Yeah,
So
I think we'll do that.
I'm excited.
Why
Yeah,
shouldn't
I
we
think
do
that's
that?
a really good idea.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we could, I like that idea a lot because people have strong feelings about this.
and not to get into the sausage making, but then we're going to have one about all the things you have to eat each year.
Oh,
I think we'll have
agree.
to have Matthew
We'll just
involved
have
in
a
both
little
of those podcasts. So.
Yeah, and don't forget Matthew's buying all of our Christmas gifts this
that's
year.
right. How exciting.
We established that months ago.
Yeah.
So, maybe we'll get him involved and that can be the day.
Yeah.
Um,
I like where this is going.
all
So,
right. Nice. All
Office
right.
supplies. I can't wait.
Well, let's. Yeah. I got you this scotch tape. Merry Christmas.
Hope you needed another red pen.
All right, let's get into a little bit of helpful information.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. I'll tell you, we were just talking before we turned the cameras and microphones on. It feels like a heavy show today, meaning that there's a lot for us to deliver. That always seems to happen when we take a week off. By
Yeah.
the way, props to you guys. I know Mac, you and Matthew picked up the slack last week when I couldn't be here. Thanks to y'all for that. If you did not listen to the deep dive that Mac did with Jared Yates, our executive vice president,
Yeah.
it is well worth your time. I've given it a listen. It's got some great insight on the current state of Farm Bureau, some of the opportunities Jared sees in the future, some of the challenges we're going to see, and really what we need from the membership too
Yeah.
as we move along. So anyway,
Yeah,
just
and
great
thank you
job
to-
on that.
Thanks to Jared for being available because when Matthew and I went in his office, we're like, hey, buddy.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
oh, what'd I do?
Yeah.
So, Jared made some really good points. And personally, as the person interviewing him, I was, not to say I wasn't prepared, but he gave some answers that I more or less wasn't thinking about, which I probably should have been. And I don't know, it spurred conversation outside of the questions I was going to already ask. And
Yeah.
So it was a really good interview, I thought.
Yeah, it was. And he gives some ressrestaurant recommendations.
Yeah,
there at
around the
end.
state.
So good on that. Y'all check that out. You can catch that on Spotify, Apple, wherever you want to listen to podcasts. and it'll be out there. All right.
That just made me hungry.
Well, I'm going to make you hungrier, I can tell you already. Heads up on a scholarship opportunity from the American Soybean Association. $7,000, a one-time award presented to a high school senior planning to study ag in college is available. The American Soybean Association is providing this scholarship in partnership with BASF. Money will be in hand for this current school year. You've got to be a child or grandchild of a current state soybean association or ASA member. So for us, it's Arkansas Soybean Association.
Yep.
You can apply by December 31st. December 31st for the scholarship at soygrowers.net. So yeah, go check that out if you're attending college.
And we just announced, or the Arkansas Soybean Association announced a similar scholarship. I think it was like $1,000.
Oh, nice.
We reported on a few weeks ago, so
yeah,
you might be able to couple both those.
Yeah, exactly. So go try and get that. There's only one person that's going to win it. Why not you?
Exactly.
Also, the winter production meetings schedule has been released by the U of A Extension, and the meetings, which we're all pretty familiar with, kick off on January the 10th. In 2024, can't believe we're already talking about 2024. January 10th in Poinsett County, and those meetings will run through March 9th, and that last meeting will be in Craighead County. Unrelated, I think, just a coincidence. These meetings cover row crops, rice, soybeans, corn, cotton, peanuts. Will be happening across many different counties, mostly on the east side of the state for obvious reasons. If you're interested, I know you can call your local county extension office to find out when the meetings are happening in your neck of the woods, or you can visit uada.edu to see the full schedule. I looked at that yesterday. It's right there. It's pretty clear. I just didn't want to, take so much time to run through that entire schedule because I'm telling you, they're going to be having a lot of meetings.
Yeah, it's meeting season.
That it is. And then also just wanted to note November is Arkansas Soybean Month. It's Arkansas Soybean Month according to a recent proclamation signed by the governor. And I was just reading through this. It sort of gives a lot of details and information about the soybean industry here in the state. Arkansas still ranks 10th in the nation for soybean production. It's been a long time. Many folks know I worked for the soybean checkoff beginning in 2010, and we were 10th then. So we've held that spot, or in the top 10. So we've held that spot for a long time.
I was still in college or grad school.
Yeah, I know. I'm old, buddy. We are on pace also, and we'll talk more about this in the coming weeks, but we are on pace. And I say on pace because you're about to hear how far along we are with soybean harvest. We're on pace to have a record-breaking soybean yield in the state this year. Even higher than last year, which was record-breaking, and higher than 2021, which was record-breaking. So that's great news. So Arkansas Soybean Month. Go celebrate by eating a chicken, chicken wings or something, because those chickens eat soybeans.
Some tofu.
You could have some tofu.
Yeah.
Really have a good steak, have some chicken wings.
Buy a newspaper. That ink probably has soy in it.
Yeah, exactly. Drive some Goodyear tires.
There you go.
They are
some
made
of your
with
shoes
soybeans.
may have some soy in it.
That's exactly right. So many things of soy.
I think they were pushing for turf some of the last.
Well, the backing on football on sports field turf, football. I remember Kansas State was the first university. Gosh, that was a long time ago. Kansas State was the first university that had their football field. All the turf had soy backing on it. So anyway, lots of cool stuff. All right, kind of teased up crop quality and harvest updates. We'll make it a quick one today for obvious reasons. USDA finally has rice is officially done with harvest, joining corn there in the done column. Soybeans aren't far behind at 95%. We'll see if this rain keeps us from wrapping up before the new report from USDA is out on Monday. Cotton is sitting at 96% harvested, a major opportunity to be wrapped up by next week there as well. And peanuts are at 92% harvested, so not much longer to go there either. You can see where we're headed with the harvest reporting now. Everything's kind of wrapping up. We made a bold prediction 3 or 4 weeks ago that we would be done before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we did.
I'm feeling good about that still.
I am. I did
We'll
see
see.
yesterday that Louisiana is the first and only state that grows soybeans that is completely done with soybean harvest.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're right behind them, which makes sense because that all goes up like a ladder,
Yeah,
right?
what I'd heard, they were the first ones to get in the field.
Yeah.
For harvest.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, there you go. Winter wheat planting, we haven't talked much about that, but we're at 72% complete with winter wheat planting. 49% of the crop has emerged. Looking at livestock quality, we seem to be faring well. I'd say okay there, with nearly 60% of the state's livestock inventory rated good to excellent, but pasture land is not doing nearly as well. You've got a third rated as poor, a third is fair, and a third is good. Hardly anything in the excellent condition. So, a challenge there. I feel like we've seen those challenges in the pasture land all year this year.
And last year.
As we've talked about this. Yeah. So, anyway. And then just to make a note of this, there's a WASDE report being released really as we record this episode. We just could not delay today in order to squeeze that in. So we'll come back and catch that next week, which I'm really looking forward to because that is supposed to be the first USDA yield projections or numbers that's got some element of ground truth to it. So anyway, that'll be a good one. So we'll come back and pick that one up next week.
Okay. Well,
all right.
News?
Yeah, let's do
there,
it.
yeah.
How about it?
All right. I have to warn you, this one's kind of long.
All right. Well,
The House Ag Committee's Ag Labor Working Group just published an interim report highlighting employer challenges of the H2A visa program. Alex Thomas of the Democrat Gazette published a great article about the report just this past week. As we've mentioned on the show before, Representative Rick Crawford co-chairs the bipartisan Ag Labor Working Group with Representative Don Davis of North Carolina. The working group has been tasked with studying how agriculture producers are addressing workforce issues such as difficulties securing workers through the H2A visa program. Since the group's formation in June, several in-person and online forums have been held to gather firsthand information from producers and stakeholders across the country. It is important to note that the group cannot push legislation, nor can they hold hearings, but instead hold roundtable discussions and make policy recommendations. They also surveyed small and medium-sized employers who reported, and here are some of the results from the survey.
okay.
93% of the H2A workers are citizens of Mexico. 28% of respondents noted cost as the primary issue in operating through the program, and that was the biggest response, biggest complaint about the program.
Yeah.
25.9% reported the complexity of the rules. 20.6% reported issues with timing and delays, and 20.3% reported issues with the program's flexibility, which are all consistent with the report or complaints we hear.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Cost,
those are the
that
main
cost being up there, just immediately.
So the article went into more description about these results and how the report kind of laid out. The largest issue from the report being the cost of the program lines up, given that in July, the Department of Labor came out with a final ruling on the adverse effect wage rate, which is the minimum wage an employer can pay and is different from one region of the country to the next. So whatever the cost is here in Arkansas, which is, I'll get into later, $13.67 an hour, it could be completely different in a northern part of the state, which normally is higher. So we have an issue with employees leaving for higher wages. So currently, like I said, the wage rate in Arkansas is $13.67 an hour. Workers also receive free housing and transportation. So that's an additional cost to employers. Crawford was quoted in the Democrat Gazette saying most of the costs of the program are driven by the adverse effect wage rate. When you do an economic analysis of the enterprise cost over the lifetime of the contract, which may be 8 months and maybe 10 months, you may be looking at enterprise costs in excess of $25 to $30 an hour.
Wow.
The group also received concerns about worker and employer qualifications for the program. Currently, animal agriculture and meat processing are having the same issues finding workers. Forestry companies can participate in the H2B program, but there are certain caps set on that program in particular. The report also goes into detail about employers experiencing difficulties with navigating the process of acquiring labor. Employers must apply for labor certification from the Department of Labor and submit a petition to the Department of Homeland Security. So two different agencies they're having to deal with. You almost have, this is a quote from Crawford again, you almost have to have a HR specialist, but HR specialists that specialize in immigrant labor in this H2A program. Most farmers don't have that. Consequently, we do a lot of that work in our office. We get calls from farmers that are saying, hey, we have a problem with this visa or that visa. So he's dealing with it on a daily basis, or his employees are in his office. Also, over half of the respondents indicated workers' arrival dates are between 6 and 30 days after the date they requested to be there.
Yeah.
This can be due to additional paperwork and having to use the U.S. Postal Service instead of more efficient online options. And he kind of said in that, it was quoted in the paper, kind of saying, giving an example, as a farmer, I need them on this date because we're going to start planting that week. But the guys don't show up for another 30 days. Imagine having to plant 10,000 acres without any employees.
Well, and what we were talking about Louisiana being the first in the field.
Yeah.
Well, that literally could have been, normally that's a weather decision.
Yeah.
But when it becomes labor, plus weather.
And think about those weather windows are so small now.
Oh, yeah.
Planting windows, as you want to call them. Lastly, one thing that stood out to me from this story is that the House Agriculture Committee, which formed the group, will not receive any recommendations because they do not have jurisdiction over immigration policy. And Crawford said it perfectly, I thought. There's a certain irony to the fact that we have very little jurisdictional authority in the subject matter, even though we have a bulk of the subject matter expertise.
That is interesting.
The next steps for the Ag Labor Working Group will be to compile feedback and research into a final report, which will include possible legislative actions or recommendations. If you want to see this report, there's a link on their website. You go to agriculture.house.gov/policy/agricultural-labor-working-group. And we can include that.
We can or just go to agriculture.house.gov and hit the search function.
Well, if you go to agriculture.house.gov, it goes to the U.S. Ag House website. So then you'd have to search Ag Labor Working Group, and then you can find the link.
Yeah.
So there's different avenues you could take.
There are.
You can go to the entire page link I listed here.
Yeah. So jot that down in your notes.
All this is kind of exactly what we've been hearing from farmers. And this was a 44-page report, and this is just an interim report, not the final report.
Also federal level.
Yeah.
So, it's for the past couple of years, we've talked about the housing inspection piece.
Yeah.
So we talked about the free housing here. Well, then that housing's got to be inspected at the state level. And in Arkansas, that was being done by Department of Workforce Services, I think. Again, the subject matter expertise sort of conversation getting in there. Finally, we had worked towards that memorandum of understanding last year, I believe, and we've gotten the ag department the past 2 seasons to be able to kind of step in and help with there. So we've seen a little bit of forward motion here at the state level, but at the federal level, that just continues to be a challenge.
Yeah, and that's just part of the things that are slowing this program down. I mean, you throw in driver's license too.
Oh yeah, which is a big topic.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah,
Well,
not only that, but at the end of the day, what I've heard, and you may have heard something different. So this is strictly anecdotal. What I've heard is unless you can hire an attorney, somebody to do this for you, which is what Crawford's saying with the HR specialist thing. Unless you can have that, it's almost impossible.
We've heard from farmers that in the beginning they try to do it themselves, right? And then after a year of trying to do that, no, I don't. One, you don't have the time. 2, you don't have the knowledge or expertise, not because they're not capable. It's just they've never done it before.
Right.
So you, as detailed and specialized as this is, you have to have somebody that does it on a day-to-day basis.
And that's where that cost factor comes in, is having to go to somebody and get them help to help you.
Yeah.
That's I'm not going to say that's all the cost involved, because obviously it's not. You got to transport and all that. But it's just a big mess.
Yeah, you've got an increase in hourly wages. Then you've got these new labor codes that specify different wages for different jobs now, not just one labor code.
Yeah.
You've got the housing. The application fees have gone up from years past. And then on top of that, you've got to pay for transportation and housing and yada, yada, yada.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Quite a bit.
All right. As we mentioned, we're going to talk a lot about Thanksgiving dinner next week and how prices this year stack up against last year when we were pretty heavily dealing with avian flu around the country. But this week, Arkansas has its first case for 2023. Arkansas's first case of highly pathogenic avian flu for this year has been reported in a commercial broiler breeder flock in Madison County, Arkansas, according to federal officials. This is our second confirmed finding of the H5N1 avian influenza. The previous was in October 2022 and also in Madison County, affecting a commercial broiler flock. The USDA said that the Arkansas case was one of several reported on October 31st, which included backyard flocks in Tennessee and Oklahoma, as well as commercial turkey flocks in Minnesota and South Dakota. Poultry flock owners who want to review methods to keep their birds safe can visit the Cooperative Extension Service Biosecurity Resources at uada.edu. Dustin Clark, Extension Poultry Veterinarian for the UA System Division of Agriculture, is offering 2 biosecurity webinars. There's been 4. 2 have gotten past us. But those webinars will be this week and next and are focused on small flock owners. One of those is tonight and again on November 16th at 6 p.m. There's no charge to attend. Again, those are webinars, so they're happening online. You can register online at uada.edu. You know, at the end of the day, this will not impact the price of the turkey that's going to be on your Thanksgiving dinner table this year, and that is the good news.
Yeah, I agree. But let's take a short break and invite you to join the AgCast team at the 89th Annual Arkansas Farm Bureau State Convention.
Heck yeah, Mac. I can't wait to see everybody here in Little Rock, November 29th and 30th. In addition to the business sessions, of course, we'll have lots to do, like workshops, Foundation Night In, the Ag Mechanics Show, and the trade show, too.
The trade show might be my favorite part.
Yeah?
We're sold out
wow.
with vendors. And we've added the first ever state convention farmers market, where we'll have nearly 30 vendors of Arkansas-made and Arkansas-grown products. Best part, Jason?
Yep.
It's open to the public this time for the first time.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Speaking of farmers market, I was looking at the list earlier. I'm totally going to be shopping at Ozark Valley Bison Farm. I had no clue that we had commercially grown bison in Arkansas, and you know that goes great in chili.
Oh, yeah. You're a big fan of chili, as I know.
For sure.
I'll tell you this, that farm fresh bison is just one example of the great local products that will be offered at this year's farmers market. So come check it out. We hope to see you there. Now let's get back to the news.
Let's do it.
All right. This is my last story. I kind of reported on something similar to this back in the summer, but given the state of the Mississippi River the last few months, I think this ties in well with that situation.
Nice.
So China makes their largest single-day purchase of U.S. soybeans in at least 3 months Tuesday.
Okay.
This is good news given the overseas sales of the 2023 harvest have fallen far behind the usual pace. 10 cargoes or 600,000 metric tons were bought by Chinese importers for shipment from Gulf Coast and Pacific Northwest export terminals between December and March, according to agweb.com. So far this year, Brazil has dominated the global export market for soy and corn, which is not the norm, but as I've mentioned here before, the projections for their bumper crop in Brazil this year have been a concern, at least for U.S. Markets. Also, high prices due to barge shipping disruptions have hampered U.S. sales this season. So the purchase of U.S. soybeans comes as good news for U.S. producers. And that kind of points out that sounds like we have grain moving downriver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over the last 2 weeks, Sinograin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, China's state-owned importer has conducted a series of soy import deals estimated to be as much as 20 to 25 cargoes.
Oh, wow.
Since then, cash premiums for U.S. soybeans at Gulf Coast terminals jumped as much as 12 cents a bushel on Tuesday. Confirmed sales to China as of late October were down 35% from a year ago, and sales to all destinations were down 28%.
Oh, wow.
USDA currently projects a 12% year-to-year export decline. However, U.S. prices have become more competitive for shipments from December through March. That's when Brazil's next harvest will be available. So between now and then, we should see an uptick in exports, specifically in soybeans.
As we wait on that Brazilian crop.
And once theirs comes out, I guess you better push to get all of it sold before
that could change. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad it's almost lunchtime. I told you I was going to make you hungrier because, like I said, this story, if you haven't gotten hungry yet, this story is going to do it for you. And props to the journalist Rhett Brinkley from the Arkansas Times for the headline on this story. Brisket for the district. I love it. You asked me if I wrote that when we were looking at stories. I'm like, no, I wish I could take credit for that. I love it.
They should make T-shirts.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Students in the North Little Rock School District are enjoying some envy-inducing meals in the cafeteria these days. No, I'm not talking about square pizza or those delicious cinnamon rolls, which we've talked about
Chicken
before.
Nuggets?
Yeah. I'm talking about fresh, farm-raised brisket. This is all part of the district's plan, which began this school year when they earned a grant from USDA and purchased a 3,000-pound Old Hickory Pits commercial smoker.
What?
Yeah. The grant is part of USDA's Local Food for Schools Cooperative Agreement Program for partnerships with local farmers.
Wow.
Mary Lee Dennis, the North Little Rock School District's Director of Child Nutrition, told the Arkansas Times that the district is investing in the farm-to-school concept, and the smoker purchase, which was made with district funds and not a grant, is a great example of that, she said. Daniels also said, we wanted the USDA grant money to go to the farmers as much as possible.
Boom.
So we decided we would make an investment to show that we're committed to continue to offer this outside of grant funds. The $217,000 plus the district received from the Local Foods for Schools initiative will be spent on food from Arkansas farms. Over $217,000.
That's awesome.
The district says it's decided to prioritize animal protein for purchase by the district, in part because local produce farmers didn't immediately have the capacity to feed the district's 8,000 plus students. Understandable. You're a specialty crops guy.
Self-proclaimed.
And wait, it gets even better. Mm-hmm. A few weeks ago, they christened the new smoker with 75 pork butts from Bansley's Berkshire Ridge Farm in Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew, shout out, your old stomping grounds. The district has recruited a couple of pit masters from within the warehouse team. I love this. The nutrition program warehouse. Yeah, these two guys, in addition to the pork from Bansley's Farms, they've also cooked briskets from Warman Farms in Springfield and Rabbit Ridge Farms in B Branch. Yep. The district said it hopes to take the farm-to-school concept a step further by incorporating lessons in the classroom about where food comes from. We talk about that a lot, including bringing some of these farmers and others into the schools to talk to students. The district's also using farm fresh ground beef weekly, and they plan on smoking the pork butt and brisket at least twice a month for school lunches.
Well, we did not have freshly smoked brisket at Stuttgart High School.
I can assure you, Forest City didn't either.
And, one thing that stands out about this is, well, one thing we always talk about in local foods is trying to advance that sector of agriculture by increasing sales. But if you want to increase sales, you have to bring more notice to buyers. Buyers have to come to the plate, right? So what comes first, the chicken or the egg? In this situation, the produce producers couldn't fill capacity. The demand is clearly there.
Yeah.
So
invest in the infrastructure.
Yeah, is this a step in the right direction for farmers to come to the arena, to become a farmer, start farming, or increase existing farmers' capacity to grow?
Yeah.
And that's something we've definitely struggled with as a sector of agriculture in the state of Arkansas is, okay, we have the farmers to grow more product, but do we have the buyers? And if 8,000 plus students and for a $217,790 grant, I think there's plenty of capacity there to buy that amount of food. The other thing is that, you need the equipment to process it, right, and store it, right, for refrigeration. So this is awesome. Sorry, I'm kind of geeking out here. But
I know it's cool. one of the quotes that I didn't put in here is from the Bansley's Berkshire Ridge Farm, and they said they're already serving like 20 restaurants in Northwest Arkansas, but they have trouble with the pork shoulder. Like not a lot of restaurants, and we're barbecue cooks. Like we get it. Like it's not the it's the hamburger of barbecue, right? It's just a simple.
You want to feed some people though.
But they're like, so this is even better. Now we've got a source for that to move that down the road. So it's funny, again, something I didn't put in here, but the Rhett Brinkley, the reporter who wrote the story, and Brian Chilson, who's been a photographer for Arkansas Times for years, he they go to like 3 schools to talk to some of the cafeteria ladies and some of the students about the meals, and they get to one school, and the lady offers them up 2 trays, and they're like, this is our first time in 20 plus years to eat a school lunch. And they kind of made jokes. They had pictures of it in the story that I read, but they said it was restaurant quality lunch, what they had. Apparently, one of the ladies at one of the schools makes these world famous barbecue beans, and that's what they served with the pork shoulder.
It's not fair, man. It's not fair. I mean, I grew up eating soybean burgers.
I know
at Stuttgart High School.
I know.
With microwave bacon on
it's
it.
Soybean month.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not complaining about one of the commodities I'm responsible for, but they have a smoker. How often are they smoking these briskets, and are we invited?
They're saying twice a month. I think we should try and line out.
I bet that line is longer than the chicken nugget line at Stuttgart High School. I guarantee it.
That's one of the they talked about on this day specifically that they went. They said they also offered chicken nuggets and nachos or something. And they're like, that was like no man's land because these kids were wanting.
I gotta say that being the audience member in the room at the moment, it seems like this last story has just made John more mad than anything.
I'm really excited about this, but I'm also struggling with the stuff I was fed.
Yeah, I guess mad is not the right word. Frustrated.
Yeah,
hungry, frustrated. Where is this food? I need some of this.
Yeah.
So.
And I hope Anthony grows up in a school district that offers the same quality of food.
Locally
and you're
grown.
invited.
Yeah.
So.
Smoked brisket. I love that they got 2 guys from the warehouse too, and they're like, "Hey, you guys are the pit masters now."
Y'all talk about barbecuing a lot. You got a job now.
Yeah, exactly. So
cool. That's
anyway,
awesome. I'm excited about that. More excited than frustrated.
Yeah. Well, there's
definitely
the news for the day. So that only brings us to the last segment. Of course.
We'll see you later.
Yeah. It's been a good show, but I gotta tell you, something still just feels off.
Yeah.
It just hadn't. It just
missing something.
Like it's incomplete.
Hang on just a minute. I think I can fix it. So.
Okay. See what you can do.
Just kind of just good here. Let me see. I gotta get.
You use some local office supplies.
There it goes. Yay!
There we go. Green binder.
How about
clip.
that? See, now I feel part of the team.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you are listening and not watching the show,
truly felt left out.
He did.
I did.
We talked about how John and I were wearing the same gingham green button-up shirts, and Brian has now clipped a gingham green paper to his shirt, and
is
you
that
fit in.
clip green too?
It is.
Oh, how about that?
Details.
Color coordinating.
Look at you seeing green all of a sudden.
I can see.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, it's time to play.
Stop the host.
Yes.
I missed that last week, to be honest with you.
I am ready.
Okay.
And you look great, by the way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like I'm wearing a bib. I'm ready for you guys
look like
to
you're
go,
ready for some barbecue.
go find some of that barbecue. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you guys going to be able to concentrate with me wearing this?
Yes.
I am.
All right.
I am.
In agriculture, apiculture is the technical term for raising what type of insects?
Bees.
Very good.
Honeybees.
See,
Dude, look at you right off
See,
the bat.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it a little easier on you guys today.
I appreciate that.
I don't know if that's an insult. Or...
No, it's not.
Take it how you will.
Yeah.
So
He cares about us, but
Yeah, he does.
he acknowledges our intellectual ability.
Look, I've been out for a little while, and I wanted to ease back into this. So
I like it.
Thank you.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture's beef grading scale.
Okay.
What grade comes between prime, which is the most marbled, and select, which is less marbled?
Choice.
Very good. See, I knew you guys would get these. Very easy. Now, what food item stands alone
He's about to slap us in the face.
at the end of the classic children's song, "The Farmer in the Dell"?
Oh, man. Are you going to sing it for us?
Yeah, I almost started. I'm not going to do that. It's a farm item or a food item?
It's a food item.
Food
And
item
it
stands alone.
Stands alone at the end of the song.
Eggs, milk.
Cheese.
Cheese. Very good.
That was a
Ding, ding,
total
ding.
guess.
All right.
Total guess.
Well, I knocked out
Very
2
good.
for you.
See, we-
which you knew. I was just guessing. So
I'm just thinking all the food
you
that's
know.
produced on the farm.
I mean, cheese stands. It's good.
Yeah.
So you guys did good.
All right.
I'm
How
proud
about
of you.
that?
Look at
We
you.
did do pretty
Yeah.
good. And we sailed through it. Nice job.
And just for
Boom.
y'all, I will bring back some math next week.
No.
So,
I told we
I'll have to
talked
bring
about
my
that.
calculator. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I'm a part of a generation that learned math with a calculator.
Yeah.
Can't work without a calculator.
I went through so many grades where they're like, you may not have a calculator. And then I finally got to that teacher. It's like, yeah, of course, you're always going to have a calculator in life. Better to
Yeah.
learn how to use a calculator. And I thought that was cool. So anyway.
absolutely.
All right. Well, that wraps up the news for this week. We've covered calculators, cheese, all kinds of stuff.
Drinking green.
Yeah. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yep. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown,
And I'm John McMinn.
and we'll see you next week.